could be anything. Why not be Ernest?
Beep, boop, beep, boop, boop. Oh, hi, Josh. Sorry, I didn't see you on my cyber laser reader.
Yeah, Paula, you're sounding really far away today. What's going on?
That's because I'm in outer space.
You really took that isolation and quarantine thing pretty seriously, huh?
Yeah, I just got tired of it. So I thought, what would be easier than staying inside my apartment? And that is building a small spaceship, launching it from my apartment complex's shared backyard. And call in to you still recording the pod.
Yeah, because we can't miss a week.
We didn't plan ahead.
Yeah, exactly. You sound great, though.
Does it sound nuts? Do I
No.
sound great? Do I sound like a movie phone that you would call into in like the 90s?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sounds like, in late 2000s, early 2010s movies where like someone would Skype in. Like you have the effect that it sounds like.
It would be like in one of those movies where like you were just standing in a room and then like a screen appeared on a blank wall and I'm like, I see you there.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. Yes.
Folks, the real story is I lost the dang microphone cord. So we had to record. The new one's not in yet. So here we are dialing in on okay, so close your eyes. Open your eyes. Picture what Britney Spears wore like in the 2003 VMAs, like the headpiece with the microphone that comes down by their mouth.
Yeah, you look like a pop star.
And that's how we're doing it. Thank you. Josh.
Welcome to Being Earnest, a very sincere podcast. I'm Josh.
I'm Paula.
And we're here to bring you the sincere and earnest topics of the day. Paula, what's our topic this week?
This week, our topic is charm. Charm, how charming.
Charmed, I'm sure.
That is the craziest thing. Josh, that is the most batshit wild thing you could say to somebody when you met them.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Yes, they say that in old movies, and it's like, what does that even mean? Does that mean I'm sure you are charmed by meeting me?
Yeah, it's literally it's a huge flex.
That is an absurd amount of confidence to walk into a situation and go, I'm sure you're delighted to be meeting me right now.
100%.
That is also one of those things that's like, when you hear it in a movie, you're like, okay, can you imagine meeting someone in like, okay, I don't meet a lot of people in business meetings, but can you imagine walking into a business meeting? You go, nice to meet you. And they go, oh, charmed, I'm sure. Wouldn't you walk out the door?
What I like about this is that, listeners, you can't see this, but Paula, when she said, nice to meet you, she held out her hand like a handshake. And then instinctively, when she said, charmed, I'm sure, put her hand in the, like, you can kiss my ring kind of. Like, you can take my hand and kiss it.
If somebody said that to me in a real life conversation, I would walk out the door because guess what? You're wrong. I'm not charmed.
It's a huge flex. I mean, like, what is the, like, there's not an equivalent in modern day speak that's like,
it would just be like, okay, so say nice to meet you. And I'm going to try to like respond in like,
okay, hey, Paul, it's really nice to meet you. I've heard great things about you.
Lucky you, mother fricker. That is what they're saying.
Yeah. Or it's like, here, ask me.
Okay. Hi, John. Was it? It's so nice to meet you.
We'll see.
Well.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but it's like
so absurd.
Well, it's also like the phrase, it's the least I could do. I know that the intention is, look, it was no biggie. I'm happy to help. But if you take and like, I could have done more. But if you look at it another way, it's like, I literally did the bare minimum because that's all I'm going to do. Like, I hit the bar.
You mean so little to me that you mean so little to me that I did the tiniest bit of work I could do.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So there's something that I've never truly understood, and I do think that this is probably like from gendered capitalism, but like charm bracelets don't make sense to me. I can try to explain to you what I think a charm bracelet is, and then you can correct me when I inevitably get it wrong.
Yeah, let's do that. I love to do that anyway in this pod.
Yeah, this is no different. I'm just calling it out. So my understanding of a charm bracelet is that it is a thing you wear on your wrist.
Correct.
Where you can collect like interchangeable trinkets that have symbolism in some way, and you like collect ones that are apropos to your life. So like you'd choose one for like if you had kids, you'd put your kids on there, or like a dog and you'd like try to find the breed of your dog and things like that. And these things exist in various forms, from like very cheap versions of it to like high-end commercials like he got it at Jared kind of level charm bracelets, and they go in and out of vogue about every 8 years. How is that? So
Josh, as somebody with a master's degree in charm bracelets, you nailed it. That's what they are.
Okay.
I don't understand. I think they're really delightful. I think there's something so nice about like you have a bracelet, and then when you have something to celebrate or you have something that's special to you, adding a little something to it. I think that's really cute.
Yeah, I mean, I think it rides that fine line of like sweet or gaudy. You know what I mean?
I think both of those are amazing.
It's true. Yeah.
Both. Yes, both. Sweet and gaudy.
It's the name of our small business that we created.
Sweet and gaudy.
Yeah, exactly.
I think there is something so nice about it. Something where you're like, these are just freaking things I like. And it's not just things that are stylish. I'm not pretending. It is so earnest and so delightful that somebody's walking around going, I went to Paris once. I have a beagle. How cute.
I know like it can be trendy and people are choosing to do it, but even when it's trendy, the like just the directness of like, I have a beagle, there's a beagle on my wrist is like
so wonderful.
Yeah. And I think that I'm like being a little judgmental about it. Whereas I collect enamel pins that I put on my denim jacket, and it's literally the same thing. In some cases, tattoos, it's the same thing where it's like let me decorate my body with things I care about.
Yes. It's like a wearable passport, right?
I love that idea.
Yeah. I think it's really nice. I think it's really wonderful. Now, let me tell you a very earnest thing. One of my favorite things, I have an Etsy like recommendations and stuff, is I collect old charm bracelets.
Wait, so other people's memories, essentially?
Yes. And not like, I don't collect, but I have a record because I'll tell you what, first off, you pop off those charms, cool little necklace. But I love getting them because it's like, this is like what was important to this person. Do you know what I mean? Even not getting them, like looking at them and like looking online and like real Etsy ones. I'm like, you guys, the good brand is called Moet, Moet. They're really cool. But you could be like, oh, this person went to Paris. They were a tourist. They, like were super religious, like whatever it is.
What you're describing is a history degree. It's basically like, I've got basic facts about this person and let me construct a narrative from that. That's actually very cool. And like, in some ways I get, not to go real big here, but I get very worried about the historical record of our lives if the internet goes away. And so
we won't have any.
Yeah. And so what I love is like, to some extent, maybe charm bracelets are one of these things that however many hundreds of years in the future, if the human race is able to survive this, it's like we get a historical record of that person in the way that like finding a diary of someone from the Renaissance is suddenly like, holy crap, I actually have a view into this person's life in a way. That's kind of cool.
Yes. It's really cool when you find one that you're like, oh, I'd be friends with this person.
That's so funny.
It's like super weird. I got one. One of my favorite ones was like all these cool old charms, and I don't wear the bracelets, and also because I have massive, just professional wrestler size wrists.
Really?
Yes, I have huge wrists, and like vintagey bracelets do not fit me. But a friend who is like much cooler than me told me that you can just put them on a chain. It does look cool, but it was like she was into like theater and had all these like cool, weird, good luck charms and like went to Hawaii. And I was like, oh, I love her. But then sometimes you see one and you're like, this person sucked.
Yeah.
Oh, this person was just a snooze fest.
If we're going to create the personal history passport of and create a trend through being earnest, like whether that's pins or maybe even like scout badges.
Scout badges. Okay, wait. Okay, so being earnest, a sash, like the coolest girls in Girl Scouts had. I was a vest girl, unfortunately. But okay, so everyone gets a sash, and then we get different really earnest badges, and you can earn them for stuff.
Yeah.
That is so cute. Okay, what is the name of our scout troop? How about the Very Earnest Scouts? Exclamation point.
Yeah, Very Earnest Scouts.
Very Earnest Scouts.
Yeah, VES for short.
Okay, I love it. Vests. Way to go, vests. Team vests.
But we don't have vests. We have sashes.
We have sashes because that was the cool thing. Okay, so what kind of badges would we give people?
Well, I think it's like badges for just completing, like, you know how when you make a to-do list and you put a couple things on there just to like reward yourself and feel like you're getting some.
Yeah, you're like, wake up, done.
Yeah, right, exactly. I think it's some of those things.
Make a list, done.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe one of the badges is just like check mark boxes.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just make a list.
Make a list. You made a list.
Make a list.
What about like a badge for buying and then wearing the thing that you didn't think you could pull off? And you're like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And feeling
good in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Okay, how about a badge for like in the before times and then the after times when you are talking to new people? And you know that feeling where you're like, this conversation is really boring, and then you ask the right question and then you find out something interesting about them?
Yeah, it's like that could be like a little like unlocked conversation.
Yes.
Kind of thing.
I think that is definitely one. It's like when you're talking to someone and you're like about to lie and be like, I think I need a refresh on this drink. And then they mention that like they went to magic camp for 14 years.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh, now I'm in.
Now I'm getting 2 drinks.
We are sitting down in the corner over there.
Yeah, I love also the idea of getting a badge for doing the thing that you'd been putting off for 3 months and it takes 10 minutes.
Yes.
The thing that like really did not take that much time.
And it's just this weight off your shoulder.
Yes, it's an albatross.
Yes.
What about a badge for like treating yourself?
Oh.
You know what I mean? Like,
well, what if we made them tiers too? So like $5.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
100.
Yeah, exactly. That like you can level up, and then it's a rewards program at that point, and you could actually turn that in for earnest bucks that you can use.
And 50 earnest bucks gets a special badge.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That you can buy on our merch store.
And we just completely make it marketing. We're like, a special badge for writing a review.
Yeah, which I think is illegal, but if you wanted to write a review, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. That being said, I think this idea has legs. If you at home think of a very earnest badge, send us your very earnest badge. And if we get some, we'll read them out in our next episode. So we're at Being Earnest Pod on all social media or beingearnestpod@gmail.com. Send earnest badges that you could earn our way. And maybe we'll do a little readout of some listener ones to give you a shout out.
Maybe we'll get them all printed and then we'll have to earn them. And then we'll be a giant Girl Scout troop for everybody.
And it's not a pyramid scheme.
It's not a pyramid scheme. But how it works is you try to get other scouts underneath you. So they're working for you.
Exactly. And you have to buy 500 badges up front.
And the name of our company is called Mary Kay. We do sell makeup door to door.
We've been bought out by Mary Kay. Paula, what makes someone charming?
Okay. So I think thought about this a lot. They're either somebody with a really good personality that you want to talk to, or there's somebody who's super hot and you haven't yet realized that they're boring.
Yes, I think this is 100% the
Two
right
types
answer.
of charm.
Yep.
Somebody who's the personality is great, or somebody who is dressed so cool.
Yeah, right.
Such a good face.
Yeah, Just cavernous cheekbones.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Pretty nails.
Yeah. Well, that's literally how, and I'm going to be nerdy here for a minute, but that's literally how Dungeons and Dragons works. There is a stat.
Rip off my headset.
Yeah. There's 6 stats that kind of determine your whole character's everything, that everything flows from. And one of them is charisma. And having a high charisma can mean a lot of things. It can mean that like you're a smooth talker. It can mean that like you're weird, but like you get that reaction of like, they're weird, but I like them.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like you inspire trust. Or it can mean you're just hot as hell. You're just like very attractive. And as a result, people do what you want.
That's a real thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, have you ever you're like, oh, this person's cool. And then after a while, you're like, I think they're just hot.
They're just hot. Yeah. Exactly.
I think they're just hot. And they have the incredible confidence that comes along with that.
Yeah. Imagine having confidence of being super hot.
Can you believe that exists within a fictional land where people are just like gnomes?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Well,
but like Dungeons and Dragons made the bold decision to be like, but some gnomes are hot.
Yeah. You tap some of these gnomes.
Whoa.
Yeah.
We're just saying there's a real difference, a hot troll and an ugly troll.
Yeah, exactly. There's you could be a 10 as an orc. Which that was a thing, wasn't it? Like the orc from the second Lord of the Rings. There's like a weird sub-community where people are like, that guy is, people who know what I'm talking about will know what I'm talking about. But there's a sub-community of the internet that's like, this orc hot as hell, would do him.
Good for them. Not going to yuck their yum. Now, I don't know a lot about orcs or whatever you call this, dragons stuff.
Sure.
But I do know a lot about RuPaul's Drag Race, in which case they are looking for a queen with charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent. And I don't have anything to add to this conversation. It's just, I kind of like to think of your Dungeons and Dragons meeting my Drag Race.
Yeah, Dungeons and Drag Race.
And okay. And the winning orc on this Dungeons and Drag Race has to demonstrate charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent, and sometimes must lip sync for their lives.
I'm just going to put a quick TM on this. I'm copywriting what we just created, whether that is a Dungeons and Dragons role-playing game based on a D20 system that is set in the world of RuPaul, where you can play a role-playing game and you can do it at home.
Yes.
Or anyone, if we want to make a campaign in Dungeons and Dragons where it's Dungeons and Dragons theme, but like one of the modules is that it's basically just RuPaul's Drag Race.
I'm freaking out.
The version of it.
Okay, if you do that, please invite us. Also, I love that we just TM something that are 2 separate things that are very much TM'd. Yeah. And we were like, ours.
Yeah, we're like, let's figure out a deal between Wizards of the Coast and what channel is RuPaul's Drag Race on?
It's on VH1, but it is owned by World of Wonder.
Okay, so then we'll just make that connection and we're the middlemen for that.
Wow, that is so fun. Hold on. This podcast is about to change.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's like you roll your 20-sided die. Oh, you do sashay away.
Wait, I love this because it combines both of our loves.
Yeah, it's specifically our target audience. It's the 2 of us only.
It's the Venn diagram of me and you.
Yeah, exactly. It's
like
Dungeons and Drag
listeners.
Race. Yeah. I do like that you called it dragon stuff, which is what I'm going to call Dungeons and Dragons from here on out.
Do you remember Dragon Tales, the cartoon?
Yes, I have a story about Dragon Tales.
Were they religious?
Huh.
Doesn't it seem like Dragon Tales? Now, I don't know a lot. Maybe I'm thinking because of Veggie Tales, but doesn't it seem like John 16 would be like hidden in the clouds or something?
Well, I mean, Veggie Tales was like openly like, and the creator made this world and brought his son down.
And the creator wanted broccoli here.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's very like that one is openly religious as opposed to Dragon Tales. The whole thing was like they found a dragon scale and they went to Dragonland and they escaped their like missing parents.
Huh. Well, I do also think that, and now I know you have a story about Dragon Tales, but now, Josh, get me if I'm wrong. We don't have to get into religion, but neither one of us grew up in a VeggieTales household.
We did not. I had friends who had VeggieTales households.
Yeah. I did not grow up in a VeggieTales household either. What a absolutely batshit pitch meeting that was.
Yeah.
For them to sit down and be like, all right, so you know the Bible? What if vegetables told it?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because it's like, you know what kids love? Not vegetables. It's literally like and I'm sorry if you love VeggieTales. I also don't want to yuck the yum of anyone who is.
We're not yucking the yum, but the idea is absolutely wild. Now, the execution, I'm not familiar with. It's probably wonderful. They're extremely popular. But it's like someone got into a meeting and is like, oh, right. It's somebody who's never met a child. And they're like, every kid's favorite thing, vegetables and Bible stories.
Well, so I wonder if they were like on a dare. They were like, can we kill two birds with one stone here and get kids to eat vegetables and love God?
Well, do you think it'd make them want to eat vegetables, or would they be like, no, these are my friends. These are my friends. Harry Potter the carrot.
Yeah.
Same name, unrelated. Josh, I completely interrupted your Dragon Tale story. I just got so
I don't know if I've told this on the pod before, and if I have, here we go again. So my brother and I really liked Dragon Tales growing up. It was just like it was kind of always on, and we weren't like, when you're a kid, you don't have a concept of shows like having seasons and having time slots necessarily. Right. Like I knew after school, it was likely that I could watch one of these three shows. And then once I got older, I was like, okay, they have time slots or whatever. But like, I just watch a fair amount of Dragon Tales, and generally Dragon Tales was pretty good. But recently my brother and I were on a phone call where we both discovered that we were both scarred by the same Dragon Tales episode. It's this episode about, they go to a place called Kingdom Come. And it's like a beautiful utopia. And then they're not allowed to leave because it's Kingdom Come, not Kingdom Go. And
that sounds great. What's the big problem?
So both of us had existential crises about the idea of like, we both got like Hotel California, right? Where it's like,
you were too young for that.
And we were too young. And the idea of like, oh, wait, you would be trapped somewhere forever. And it's like, wait, what does forever mean? Oh my God, am I mortal? Like just had that series of anxious realizations. And both of us had it independently of each other. And however many years later, like literally a month ago, Maddie and I were on a call and we were like, were you scared by that episode? I was scared by that episode.
Oh, now, as people who are quarantined all the time now, it sounds pretty good to do it there. Right, like maybe you guys were a little like actually scarred by the idea of it not happening.
Yeah, right. Exactly. It's we were trendsetters.
Was the whole concept of Hotel California, which is in my opinion the worst song of all time, was it supposed to be a nice place to live? I thought it was just like,
well, so it's like,
is it hell? Listening to it is 9.5 minutes of it.
I think it's supposed to be more like purgatory, and I think it's more a commentary on like Don Draper's, like that era of California, where it's like, it's beautiful and it sucks you in and it's really great. And then you realize like, oh my God, like nothing changes. Everything's always the same. And like, it's perfect weather, but like now you can't leave.
We're recording this in the afternoon, but it's still too early for me to even think about this. Could have done without the song. Maybe write a sentence. Do they really need 9.5 minutes? Now, Josh, while we're talking here on the Charming episode, we would be remiss if we didn't chat about Prince Charming. The most generic name.
Yeah.
The John Smith of princes.
Yeah, the Ken doll of Disney.
Oh, wow. So I think kind of the interesting thing here is Prince Charming is supposed to be perfect, but in reality, all historical princes probably absolutely sucked.
Oh, yeah. No,
absolutely just the worst of humanity.
I legitimately have a degree in medieval history. We can talk about that later, but I do. And like, literally just imagine like, listeners, close your eyes, open your eyes. Think about the worst rich kid from like middle school, like 13, 14-year-old, like let's even just say 8th grade, which is the worst year of schooling. 8th grade is always the worst year.
Yeah.
Now think of that boy as having legal and divine right over everyone.
And now he's in charge of everything.
He's in charge of everything.
Now, also just to spice it up, everyone who's poorer than him is employed by him.
Yeah, works for him.
He's your boss.
Yeah, you don't go to school. You are a scutlery maid or boy.
And his personality is that which his entire life, everyone has been telling him he's the best at everything all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And also never bathes.
Also, access to lots of weapons.
Yeah, this actually sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible.
And the never bathes thing is really what gets me. Is like these Prince Charmings are these like Nordic looking, like beautiful in Disney, at least. They're like these chiseled cheeked.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Just straight up dimes. Just 10 out of 10 hunks.
Yeah. Versus like you get married by like 15 or something like that in this.
You're popping out kids by 15 and a half.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Every single Prince Charming's got one of those like pubescent, like faux stashes, like just the upper lip mustache and little squiggly hairs on the cheeks.
Pimply all over.
Yeah.
They bathe the most of anyone in the kingdom, and that is once a month.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Oh God, just the worst. And all the Prince Charmings also know that if you so much as annoy them, if you so much as whisper the wrong sentence as they walk by, you can be beheaded legally.
Yeah, totally. It's just like 1,000 Joffrey Baratheons running around.
I don't know who that is.
It's from Game of Thrones.
Okay. Yeah. Just the worst, dirtiest 7th grade boys. And that's who Cinderella's like.
Yeah, exactly. Someday my prince will go.
And he's like, I'm here, but my mom's in the car.
Yeah, right. Carriage. Mom's in the carriage.
Mom's in the carriage.
Yeah. Also,
I'm here, but I want to go play Xbox. Xbox is just a cardboard box back then.
Yeah, exactly. It's where he puts someone in a torture chamber in like the rack, so they're in an X.
Spins it.
And spins it. Yeah. So, obviously, lots of problematic morals and power dynamics and all of these things. What I think would be the worst part of Prince Charming at that point is imagine being wooed by someone who's been told their entire life that they're the best and has only been taught that the way that you woo someone is chivalry. Just imagine like all the like, my lady.
Ew.
it's
just a guy on the internet with a fedora.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate that.
Like, oh, my lady, you seem your skin is so dewy today.
Oh, let's go take a little walk in the garden. And he's like laying down his coat for you every step of the way.
Every puddle. It's so wet by the end.
I absolutely hate this guy. Oh God. And then like your like fun nights on the town with this little 14-year-old garbage prince is like some crazy ball where you have to wear 14 girdles.
Yeah.
And walk around with a fan. And the only music you get to hear is just bum, ba-da-dum, da-da-da-da-da.
Sure, exactly. And it's
just
probably
like
off
one
tune.
Harpsichord.
Yeah. What I'm realizing here is that I think so we've got the like rowdy 8th grade boy.
Yeah.
But there's also probably a version of Prince Charming that's just young Sheldon. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like real like rule follower, like big narc kind of energy.
Okay, big narc, huge wigs.
Yeah, exactly.
Big narc, just Oates from Hall & Oates hair times 15 and tiny. Okay, wait, picture this. This is Prince Charming in real life. Huge hair, massive curly wig, tiny little high heels.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So we're jumping a little bit ahead in time, but like this is Mozart's level, like Prince Charming.
Tiny little size 5, tiny buckled shoes with a high heel, and he can barely walk in them. So he's just up there being like, tip, 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 tip. Clickety, clackety, clickety, clackety.
Tappity, tappity, tap, tap, tap.
He's like, Mommy, tippity, tappity, tippity, tappity. Oh, this guy would be so annoying. And the worst part is, now let's say in this scenario, we're a little princess and has to marry this horrible little prince.
Mhm.
The worst part is, he's getting it on the side too.
Yeah, right, exactly.
So you're like, not only do I not even like this guy, he's hooking up with everyone else here at the same time. I don't even get to hate this guy by myself. Like, and everyone assumes that I'm mad about it. If anything, it's like, get out of my hair.
Yeah, right, exactly. And you can't even gossip with the people he's getting it on the side with because that would be uncouth.
Oh my God. Now, if we were each married to the prince, so we're the first and the second, why do you think we'd each be beheaded?
Like in an Anne Boleyn style execution?
Yeah. I think mine would be talking back.
Sure. Yeah.
Mine would be me going, oh, wow.
Yeah.
I would just snap at a massive ball.
Yeah, I feel like I would have like a elaborately planned, like multi-step gift that goes awry and ends up like blowing up in my own face in a way that like then I've caught myself in my own web of lies.
Yes. I think that's true. I do think I think that is very accurate for you. I think mine is a talking back, but I think more so is I'm sure Josh knows this. I can't hide when I don't like somebody.
Yeah.
Like I like most people. Like I will say statistically, I like the majority of people. But if I don't like someone, I can't even talk to them. I just am not good at like being like fake nice, which is rarely a problem because I like most people. But I think I would hate this guy so much that it would just be visceral on my face every time he walked in.
Well, he'd walk in and he'd be like, "My lady," and he'd be like, "Ugh."
I'd be like,
just immediately throw up every time you see him. What about charms like spells?
Do, 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 do. Like that one?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, because the Harry Potter,
Absolutely.
like that's a category of spell, right?
Yes. Now, look, Harry Potter's canceled. We talk about it too much. Whatever. All that aside, I don't care. Charms has to be the most useful class.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And they spend no time. You're telling me that they care more about like turning like a table into a chair or whatever bullshit they're doing. Charms are like day-to-day life. Like that is what's useful. That is your addition. That is your math. That is your reading class.
I was reading a book. It's a young adult series of like
Cool.
it was just very fantasy. At one point during the pandemic, and I can't remember the name of this book, but one of the things is that like all of the essentially like wizards in this school, because everything that's been written since 1995 is a Harry Potter kind of adjacent thing.
A knockoff, yeah.
Yeah, their whole thing is that like as they start being able to harness their power more, they just get hotter because like they know how to make themselves look hotter.
That's such a young adult thing.
Yeah.
They're magic and they're super hot.
Yeah, they're super hot.
They know how to lead an army.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that makes sense. Wouldn't you just be like, okay, changing my hair?
Yeah, right. Exactly. You'd be like, I no longer have pimples. I don't have to deal with this anymore. I have no bags under my eyes.
Yes. Oh my God, it must be so nice.
Yeah. And in Dungeons and Dragons, charms are a type of enchantment where it's like you can charm a person and pretend if it works, they become your friend for an hour. But when it wears off, they know they've been charmed. So maybe that's the trick of the whole thing, is that like, unlike, like a Jedi mind trick where they're like, I just am going to let them do this. You'd be like, you're going to do this for me. And they're like, okay. And then an hour passes and they're like, wait a second.
But you're long gone by that time.
Yeah.
You're long gone. That's the thing. They got to teach you charms and running away real fast.
Yeah. So I guess here's my question for you, Paula, is let's say that you have magic now. Both of us have magic.
Thank you.
But we only have enough magic to cast one charm once a year.
Same charm every year?
Yes, same charm. It's like your superpower. You realize is that once a year, and it for some reason works with the calendar year, with the Gregorian calendar, like January 1st at midnight, you feel the magical energy surge within you again. And you can cast one mildly helpful charm. It can target one person, one creature, let's say, which could be you. Mm-hmm. And it's mildly helpful. So you can't do something. War. Yeah, so you can't be like, oh, I'm going to make everyone decide to have world peace and then I'll just re-up it every year or whatever. Right. It's like you can make your cat love you for 10 minutes a year. Maybe do that. Something like that.
Maybe do that. Okay, well, if it's something that's really short lasting, wouldn't it be fun if once a year, now can you also save it up, or is it like on January 1st, this is the day, or you can pick any day in that calendar year, any one moment, but you could only do it once in that year?
It's that. I mean, there's no rollover minutes.
I could be like at 2 p.m. on July 10th, be like, it's time.
Yeah, it's like vacation days. You get them, but they don't roll over.
Now, this one would not be useful at all, but wouldn't it be really fun to just once a year be able to fly straight up really high? And you just go, boo, just straight up into the air and then just right back down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it would be so fast that everyone around would be like, what did we just see? And you can't do it again.
Yeah. Also, I love the idea that like, we're going to skip past this, but like, how do you figure this out that you can do this? Because it's not like, you know, in every superhero origin story, they're like, oh, I caught fire. And then it like happens again. And they're like, oh, that wasn't a thing. And like, you learn over the next month and you like practice or whatever. It's like being a leap year kid. Like you only get a birthday every 4 years. It's like once a year, you're like, I think I could do this again. And then you work out for yourself. Then you can like, boo.
And it would just be I think it's just the perfect amount of like, we'd all be kind of, because something that you only do once a year, like we'd all be kind of shocked. It's not like I would do it and then just like land on the ground and be like, ta-da. Like I'd be like, holy crap. I hit a bird with my face. Like we'd all be shocked. And then I wouldn't be able to do it again. And I don't know why, but in my head, this is happening in downtown of Stowe, Vermont, a town I went to once.
Sure, yeah.
But there's just something so delightful about it. Just like while you're on like a trip somewhere, just being like, ta-da!
If a Paula shoots straight up in the air in a forest and no one's around to see it.
No, I'd make sure everyone was around. And then the news would come and they'd be like, do it again. And I'd be like, I can't.
I would want to once a year just be able to be like, no, I don't want to have this argument. Just do what I say. Just once a year. Just like
one time.
Just one time, whether it's with a client or whoever, and be like, I just don't have the energy for this. Like, you're just going to do this. We're just going to do the thing that I want to do.
Yes, I think that's perfect.
Yeah, something like that. Or maybe I can like lift something with my mind up to 20 pounds for up to a minute.
I like that. Like, and we do it at the same time and nobody knows where to look.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell?
Yeah, it's like I'm in bed.
Because 20 pounds is also not a car. It's just like a thing.
No, it's like I really don't want to reach up and get the flour out of the thing above where I keep it above my stove.
Once a year.
I just want to once a year just be like, whoop, and just like be a Jedi and pull it.
Yeah, I like that.
I think that's going to do it for us.
I think that's going to do it for us.
Thank you, as always, for listening for another week. We really appreciate everything you all do to support us, to support each other, and to when you share the podcast, that really, really, really helps. If you haven't written a review on Apple Podcasts, the worst application in the App Store, we would really mean a lot to us if you could. It helps people find it. Also, if you have a friend who you think you would like this, send them our way. We mentioned this earlier. If you have earnest moments, if you just want to say, hey, if you have scout badges that you want to pitch to us, send it to us at beingearnestpod on all social media or beingearnestpod@gmail.com.
Thank you, as always, to Ryan Cruz for our incredible logo. She is on Instagram at @RBCruiser. And thank you to Dylan Dutch for our wonderful theme song. You can find him on Twitter at Dylan Dutch, and his music project is Death Love, and we love it.
Yes. Find that anywhere you stream music or buy music.
Oh, also, if you ordered a copy of No Wrong Answers, probably by the time you got this, by the time you've listened to this, you have received an email, but those are at the printer. They should be shipped out to you soon.
Yes. Look out for information on that very soon.
If you did not get a copy of No Wrong Answers and you're still listening and you do want one, we might have a few extras. So ship us a little email or a little message.
And until next week, just remember, we have trademarked Dungeons and Drag Race and no one else can take it. And this is our thing.
Thanks, everybody.
Have a good week.
Bye.